Hey!
Hey, hi.
Welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show.
Hello.
That's brutal. Just two patriotic girls. So please don't take us the wrong way.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show. Before we get into today's reaction, please, if you like our content, hit the like button.
Oh, you're going right there.
I'm going right in.
Let's do it.
And consider subscribing. It's a free way to support our channel and show us that you like the content that we do put out there. Plus,
And that you want more.
That's true.
Sorry to be an interrupter.
Plus, I have my 100,000 subscriber challenge out there. Want to get there by March 21st, which happens to be my birthday.
Happy early birthday, by the way.
Well, thank you. It's way early, but thank you.
In case I forget that day. Yeah, I'll be locked out of the house.
So what are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to do a video. We're going to react to it.
We are going to do that. That's what we do.
Bet you didn't see that coming.
Surprise.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so today's video, normally we have some form of like this much information to set up the video. We got none. So we have all of the title and that's it. This video's been floating around for a while.
Oh, and requested so much.
It has been, and we kind of forgot about it, didn't we?
We did.
And I was intimidated by it when I first saw the title. I'm like, what? Languages of the British Isles. It just sounds like a lot.
It
and
does.
It sounds scary. I'm scared.
I only speak English, so I don't know what the other
American
languages
English.
are. American English, true.
There's a lot of different forms of English, aren't there?
True. We have learned that.
Yeah, we have. I think we're both starting to learn some of the British English. But either way, we don't know the language of the British Isles, and we want to dive into this video, jump into this video, whatever you want to do to get into hit the play button on the video, and find out about these, because we don't know much about this. We've done some pronunciation stuff, we've done some different things like that, accents and things, but not languages.
No, we haven't. We got to find out what other languages are out there.
Ones we will not know. So let's find out. Let's learn about this, guys, and see what happens.
English is the third most widespread language in the world, behind Spanish and Standard Chinese. It's spoken from England to Canada to South Africa to New Zealand to Australia. You know, thanks to the old empire. Wait, that's not what I'm meant to be talking about in this video. What was it? History with Hilbert, history,
Languages.
Dutch, Frisians, languages. That's the one. In this video, I'm going to be having a look at which other languages are spoken in the British Isles, because while English is its most famous export, it's by no means the only one. So let's have a look. Now in this video, I'm going to be looking at country by country which languages there are in the British Isles. And in this video, I've decided...
I am surprised he actually put up the flag for Northern Ireland, because you rarely see that anywhere.
No,
So,
you don't.
Yeah, interesting.
decided to put Ireland and Northern Ireland together simply for geographic reasons, so please, nobody start a war in the comments. The first country I'm going to look at is Scotland. I hope you enjoy the video.
Pretty.
The most famous and romantic language to come from Scotland has got to be Scottish Gaelic. Some basic phrases include Slán Java, a toast, Cimara Hashif, how are you? La Nuv Andre Madui, happy St. Andrew's Day, Alba Gabra, Scotland forever.
Alga Gabra. Did I say that right?
It sounded right.
Probably not. These are hard already.
They
Good thing we're
are.
not trying these. Is that Claymore? We both know it's not.
Probably not.
Claymore, meaning big sword. Sassenach, meaning Englishman or foreigner, literally meaning Saxon, which dates back to the Dark Ages.
Okay.
And Guma Fada Beo Stuart,
Not trying it.
long live the Stuart. I mean, come on, this is History with Hilbert. I'm gonna put some history in there. Where in Scotland do they speak Gaelic? Mostly in the Western Highlands and Islands. Islands such as Lewis, Harris, Darren, Bob, Mark, and Thomas.
No.
I love the island named Bob.
There's no way that's real. I'm not buying that.
Mark and Thomas.
No, there's no way there's
They're
a
all
Bob.
names.
There's no
Like
way.
I just noticed.
Can't be right.
Oh, wait, no, those aren't the names, hold on.
Told you.
Islands like Lewis, Harris, Eust, Skye, Tyree, and Islay. These are the places where...
Did you really think there was an island named Bob? I knew that was wrong.
really, really hoping there was an island named Bob.
I thought that was the Isle of Skye when he was pointing to it, and I'm like, wait, what? This guy's messing with us. We have to pay more attention
quite
to like
disappointed.
notice when he's joking.
I know he's a jokester, so we gotta look.
He
at
got
it.
jokes. I like it. It's interesting though.
Gaelic has remained the strongest, even though many areas of Scotland which used to be Gaelic speaking have now either become English speaking or both English and Scots speaking, but
Okay.
I'll get onto that in a minute. Now, Gaelic is a Celtic language and it originally came from Ireland. Now,
Sure.
why did the Scottish Gaelic come from Ireland? Well, I'll explain that. Once upon a time, there was a powerful family living in the north of Ireland called the O'Neill. Now, if you think this name looks familiar,
O'Neill.
well, that's because this is the Old Irish version of the modern name O'Neill,
Okay.
still an important and large family.
Yep.
Now, the O'Neill expanded their kingdom and founded a kingdom called Dal Riada. And Dal Riada was a kingdom that originally was both across the north of Ireland and the southwest of Scotland. And this is how Gaelic from Ireland came into Scotland.
Okay.
Now, Gaelic is actually not an official language of the United Kingdom, but there is a BBC radio and TV channel which is entirely in Scottish Gaelic called
Really?
BBC Alba.
That's cool.
And
Okay.
Alba, as you can remember from Alba Gabra, which means Scotland forever, is the Gaelic word for Scotland. I'm now going to play for you a native speaker speaking some Scottish Gaelic.
Cool.
Smisha Rosemary, chaim hokal an líste jés an balabig idir vil gearna mónug. Va galig ag mahad, a charok galig ag mavahad, agus leishin chaim hokal an dachi far a roshin klech go beor le fat na chiche. A chaganyan sin chaim idir tron skol agus hiwn sich me galig go art ide. Chum in losin siachat imidoch bliana chicask trevian na galig agus an losin elisach na galig agus elisach inat galig.
Okay, hold on.
That was cool.
Rewind 5 seconds. First of all, where's that castle? What castle's that? Should I already know? I'll probably do it. I'm sorry if I do. That was beautiful.
That was
That is
beautiful.
a beautiful language. And I just don't know how many people speak this still. I know we've heard from like when we did Facebook Lives and Patreon stuff, a lot of these languages are dying out, which makes me sad. I
It
don't want
does.
that to happen.
And in the beginning, he's from what I remember, it sounded like it was just like the actual islands.
Yeah, like
So-
this, and he did say most people speak English
Yeah.
now, but still. Gaelic or Gallic? Because over here
I
we
know.
always say Gaelic, which I think is probably wrong. Well, he's saying the other way, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just beautiful.
Scots were here with walls blood. Scots one bruise has often led.
Now, there is some debate as to whether Scots should be considered a language or just a dialect of English. Now, I'm going to make a video about this in future, but for this one,
Heard
I'm just
this
going to treat it
before.
as a
One of
language.
our
Now, we in
subscribers.
Scots means small. It doesn't have the same meaning as in English. Lads and lasses are boys
Yep,
and
know
girls.
this one.
Old Lang Syne is a song which is often sung at New Year, and it essentially means a long time ago.
We sing it here too.
Am fi Glasgow means I'm from Glasgow.
Oh.
A wee drink o iron brew means a drink of bleach. Why wouldn't I fecht for Charlie is why wouldn't I fight for Charlie? Again, the Jacobite references. And if you're Dutch, a lot of words in Scots are a lot more like Dutch words.
Huh.
And why is that? Well, you'll just have to wait until the history of Scots for that one. Their sure slays in Athol Braes and the deals at Killycrankio. This is from a very famous song, which I very much enjoy. Link will be in the description. So where do they actually speak Scots?
Yes,
Well, they
do
speak
tell.
it on Orkney, not Orkney, Aberdeenshire, Angus and Ayrshire. These are the
Not
regions where most Scots speakers are. So if you remember, Scottish Gaelic was very much, or Gaelic rather, was very
Gaelic.
much spoken in the west, on the Highlands, in the islands. Scots is the other side. Scots is mostly spoken in the east, again clustering around these regions of Shetland and Orkney, Aberdeenshire, Angus and Ayrshire. Now, again, to look at the language tree, Scots is a Germanic language. Now, I sort
it's
of hinted
really-
at this earlier. Scots comes in from Old English. Now, I'll have a quick look into this in just a minute.
For sure.
And its closest relations are then languages such as, obviously, English is a close relation. Then you've also got a very close relation, as I said, to Dutch. You can recognise words, Frisian as well, and to a lesser extent the other Germanic languages there. The reason that the Scots language actually exists is because of the Kingdom of Northumbria. Now, Northumbria, unlike the modern-day county of Northumberland,
That's what I'm thinking.
was a lot larger, and actually Northumbria stretched right the way from north of the Humber and sometimes even south of the Humber when it occupied the Kingdom of Lindsey around modern-day Lincolnshire. It
Okay.
also went right the way up thanks to King Oswald's conquest, or it was probably Oswy actually, who conquered parts of southern Scotland, right the way up to, I think, Abercorn was the northern border of Northumbria. Now, the Northumbrians spoke Old English because they were Anglo-Saxons, and they brought the Old English language into Scotland as
Okay.
well. Now, when Old English was changed and altered because of the Normans and because of French, it evolved into Middle English. Yet in Scotland, where this was much less, the language remained much truer to its original Old English roots, and the Scots language was born.
Okay.
I'm now going to play
Interesting.
the Scots audiobook
This is
version of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter, called Peter Kinnan in Scots.
Awesome.
But round the end o' a cucumber frame, wha did he no meet wi but Meester McGregor?
I love it.
Meester McGregor was doon in his hunker setting off small kale. But he louped up and ran after Peter, wagging a scartle and roaring out, "Stop, Briggener!"
I would listen to stories all day with this accent.
Like, yeah.
He stood all over the garden, for he couldna mind the way back to the yett. He tint ane o' his shin among the kale, and the other shee among the tatties. After losing them, he rinnan off hours and get fester, sae that a jalouse he might have won a war altogether.
I'm understanding everything she's saying. Are
Uh-huh.
you?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I-
awesome.
Yes. And I like this because I do like the rolling of the tongue and all that.
I can't do that very well. But I love Scots because I can actually understand it, and I love the accent for it. I don't know if that's a regional thing where that's that strong, like,
Probably part of the Scots.
yeah, but it's also like Billy Connolly has that type of accent too. Some might disagree with me, but that's just what my ear hears. But he's from, well, we're not going to say that. I think he's from Glasgow, isn't he?
I think so.
I'm just saying, I can understand every word she's saying. It's hilariously awesome. I didn't expect that, but I love it. I could listen and to this all day.
And he hadna misfortunately run into a grosset poke
Except that part.
and gotten clocht by the large buttons on his jacket.
Hi, Ireland. Pretty.
Hello to our Mees myne heisen linta wallet Castledom Lego sheer
Next language I'm going to cover is sometimes called Gaelic, but this can be quite confusing as it gets confused with Scottish Gaelic, and Irish people actually prefer when the language is called Irish. Now, a few helpful words and phrases in Irish are falcha, which means welcome, uishkaba, which is the Irish word for whiskey and is actually where whiskey comes from uishkaba to whiskey. It's a bit of a long one, but that's where it comes from.
Okay.
Poke Mahone, which is a rather less...
Okay, something you guys don't know. You know where I'm going with this. With this. Debbie has her own language. I'm not joking. 100%. And if ever you just heard a Debbie word, that was it.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what this means. So I can start using it. Poke Mahone.
Oh gosh, the rest of this day is going to suck for me.
Oh. Well, we got to see what it means first.
Oh, it's good. You know you're going to say it anyway.
Well, yeah.
Let's rewind that back 5 seconds so we can... That is such a Debbie word. My face is red.
But that's where it comes from. Poke Mahone, which is a rather less polite one. You'll have to look that one up yourself.
Oh!
But the Irish are quite proud of it.
See?
Now, the main way that most people come into contact outside of Ireland with the Irish language is through their names. And I'm going to show you now how to pronounce them. So this one is Niamhe. Niamhe.
No.
Niamhe. Siopon.
Siobhan. What's Siobhan?
Siobhan.
Siobhan.
Now,
We have that name here in America. I used to work with a girl. Her name was Siobhan, and that's how she spelled it.
Okay, I've never seen that.
I hadn't either until I met her, but that was like 20 some years ago. So, Siobhan, that's how we say it here.
Would have never known.
Yeah, you do.
Naum. Awif.
I can't do this.
Aoifi. Aoif.
You say it different every time.
Fi oi.
I know.
Is he messing with us?
Okay, so this is how you actually pronounce them.
That's how.
Neve, Siobhan, Naomi,
Siobhan.
and I
Wi-Fi.
think it's Aoife, this one, Aoife. Now,
guy's
where do
funny.
they speak Irish in Ireland? Now, as you can see, there are regions all throughout the Republic of Ireland where Irish is well spoken. Much less so in Northern Ireland, where there is another majority and a different language, which I'll get into in a minute. But there are some regions which you can see are probably just under 70% Irish speakers, and these regions are called Gaeltachts, and there are several. There's some in Donegal, County Mayo, Connemara, Dingle, and West Muskerry are some of the largest ones.
Coastal.
And Gaeltacht means Gaelic or Irish speaking region.
Okay.
Now, Irish is doing very well as a language, and it's one of the official languages of the Republic of Ireland alongside English.
Okay.
Now, to look at the Celtic language tree again, obviously Irish comes from Old Irish and before that Primitive Irish. Now, how did Irish come to Ireland? Well, a long time ago, some fancy European farmers brought new bling with them, and while they were bringing that with them, they also brought a new language with them, a very old type of Irish, which we now call Guadelic. And all the languages like Irish and Gaelic, and a few of the other ones I'm going to cover, are part of the Guadelic family of Celtic languages.
What?
Now, a lot more happened in the meantime. So, for example, you get the Norsemen coming over and bringing Old Norse, then you also get the English coming over and they conquer an area around Dublin. Now, this area keeps expanding, and you also get the Scots coming and moving into the north, which is where my...
So now I'm going to play some of the news from Ireland, which is completely in the Irish language.
The news?
Diver Master John Hona. Date on Terra Aragadish Michael Noonan nach féidir leis éon liadú a dhéanamh thuras Silamán Katie Oud tugach Connorhí dóibh Saradánig an rialta sa gocht tar is scítear go gcuireach Aragadish.
There's a similar Welsh sound
I was
to
going to say,
it.
it sounds a little Welshish.
Got that. Nobody get mad at us. We're just what we notice, you know?
Yeah.
Like Hebrew, Welsh, and this now.
Mhm.
I'll have that.
Yeah.
I can't do that without spitting on someone's face, so I try not to. You're welcome.
Chiste tar hall na má chuisteach giste pension bancéí síntreacha lear an Terra Noonan lenar dúir scóirt starach an níomh na cháin I limena chuineh.
I want to do that. Northern Ireland, right?
But hold on a minute. Who's this dashing young fellow on the horse? It isn't William of Orange, King of Great Britain, Ireland, Scotland, England, and also that other place, the Netherlands.
Part of history we must have missed. I think we did.
Must have.
We did. I don't remember his name.
You said orange.
Ulster Scots is then mostly considered to be a dialect of the Scots language, which I covered before, having come in from Scotland. Now then it also makes sense that the highest percentage of speakers of Ulster Scots in Northern Ireland are those in the north, who are then closest geographically to Scotland, where they came from. Now, what's the history behind this? Why are there Scots speakers in Northern Ireland, a traditionally Gaelic or Gaelic speaking area?
What isn't also their nickname for Northern Ireland, Ulster as well? And I'm sorry if I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't remember. I thought so, but you're like, don't ask me.
I have no clue.
Once upon a time when times were simple, English speakers lived in England and Irish speakers lived in Ireland. Now, as we already covered in the early Middle Ages, Scots began to develop differently from English. Now, the English in, I think, the 12th century invaded part of Ireland around Dublin, and over the next few hundred years they kept expanding and fighting against the Irish. Now, the Irish had one strong base from which they resisted the English, and this was in Ulster. Now, there were Irish Gaelic warlords there who fought constantly against the new invaders, and also the language was a large part of this. The people there were very much still Gaelic speakers and had Gaelic customs and held out against the English, who at this time were also Protestants. So what the English did, who were at this time also unified with the Scottish after James I, was they sent many Englishmen and Scotsmen over to Ulster, to this very Gaelic region, to essentially replace the Irish population. And then you get many people from Scotland who spoke Scots coming into Northern Ireland in an attempt to replace these Gaelic people to assert control over the region. And that's why Scots came into Northern Ireland.
Okay. Oh, bad timing. I just didn't expect the history lesson that we're getting here, and I'm loving this.
I'm glad we're getting it.
It's a lot.
That kind of tells us some stuff that we didn't know, and then reiterates some of the stuff that we did know.
Exactly, and it's nice to put in, like, it's like a puzzle. Everything we're doing here, this whole channel, all the videos, it's a puzzle. It's a big puzzle, right? And we're always just getting pieces. Nothing is filling that puzzle up and ever going to fill it up all the way. But these are extra pieces for that puzzle, and it's helping. So I like that way you put that.
Starts to connect it together.
Yeah, well said. So it looks like we're going to Wales. Let's do this.
This will be fun.
This will be interesting. Whoa, right there, man. I feel like I need to have a big stein in my hand, even though that's not quite right. Or just a big,
with a big sword.
Yeah, that too, and just like bump
shield.
shoulders with some big dude.
We need to have metal on it.
Yeah, yeah, and then just be like, man, it's cold outside. Or so, I don't know. Sorry. Wow. It's beautiful. That is beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
I think it's fair to say that Welsh has got a little bit of a reputation of being a language with lots of difficult sounds and really long words that people really don't want to have to learn because they are a real nightmare to get out. But, you know, this is completely unfounded. And in this one, I'm just going to look at some really easy little Welsh phrases, you know, very small, a few words. So there's nothing to worry about. So the first one, Shmai, is sort of like hello or welcome. Then there's Dwi Hilbert, which means my name is Hilbert. Borda, which means good morning. Llanfair Pethwingeth Gogorich Windra Bochantisilio Gogogoch is a place where you can visit in Wales. It's very nice. Again, nothing too challenging there. So where in Wales do they speak Welsh? Well, pretty much throughout Wales, some degree of Welsh is spoken, although in some areas, especially such as Anglesey, Gwynedd and Pembrokeshire, there are clusters of Welsh speakers. Now, Welsh is the only other language in the United Kingdom, apart from English, to have official status, but then only in Wales. And Welsh is taught in, I believe, all schools, and I think roughly a third of schools are completely taught in Welsh.
Yeah, we learned that in that one video we did.
Yeah,
that's History Wales Summarized.
I think that's so awesome that the schools still teach that.
It is.
Keep it alive.
We don't want to see any of these languages die out. And even the accents, I know a lot of people say, you know, your American stuff is making our kids talk like that. And we don't want that.
No.
I mean, we don't. I know like YouTube, things like that can definitely impact the youth and the accents. And I don't want to see your accents go away or any dialects or anything like that. I don't.
Absolutely not. No. These two Americans don't want that to happen.
We definitely do not want that to happen. Anybody else? Well, they don't matter, right?
Is Welsh, and as you can see on the west coast, on the western half of Wales is where Welsh is most spoken, again because the eastern side with the border with England is where English has had more of an effect on the people there. So again, if we look at the Celtic language tree, we see that Wales, instead of being in the Gwydelic branch like Irish and Scottish Gaelic, is in the Brythonic branch. Now let's have a look at why there is this distinction between the two. So, first of all, once upon a time you had the Brythonic languages being spoken in Britain. Now, if you remember, in Ireland, a different group of European farmers, this is the theory that's believed, went to Ireland, and there they spoke the Gwydelic languages, although the Gwydelic and Brythonic languages were still related. However, when the Anglo-Saxons came in, they brought in a Germanic language, so more like Frisian or Dutch or German, and they pushed the Britons, the Brythonic speakers, into the corners. And one of the theories is that then Welsh and Cornish are simply versions of the Brythonic that were being spoken there, as well as possibly Pictish.
We've still never heard Cornish.
No, we haven't.
We need to do that.
I was actually just processing in my brain that
We had.
there's Cornish.
Oh, you didn't know? I think I just recently found that out, which I'm sorry. That's
I'm
beautiful.
going to play a little bit of audio from a Welsh vlog channel.
I
which
love
is
hearing the Welsh
completely
language.
in Welsh. And again, if you want to know where any of the clips came from, or want to watch them again, or find out more,
That's
find out more
beautiful.
about the languages, then just follow the links in
Love
the
that little
description
house.
below.
Helo, a chroeso i fy sianel. Gwnewch eich hunan yn gyffyrddus. Dwi'n mynd i fod yn gwneud vlogs fel mae'r enw yn driodaeth chi. A maen nhw'n mynd i fod yn Gymraeg fel ydych chi'n gallu clywed.
younger
Dwi'n
person.
gwybod os di'r rhan fwy o'n chi yn gwylio'r sianeli mawr vlogio fatha Zoella, Pointless Blog, Max Butler, heina I gyd. Dwi yn, ac o'n i'n sbio ar ei fideos nhw, ac o'n i'n meddwl, o, ta beth o Saesneg yn Cymraeg, oherwydd mae vlogio yn beth poblogaidd i wneud, ac o'n i'n meddwl, os na blentyn Cymraeg.
Here's 40 shillings on the drum for those who volunteer to come.
Do they speak English in England?
List and fight the
Maybe not.
today. Over the hills and far away.
Who's this guy? Random dude with his shirt off.
He's got his walking stick.
Cornish.
He's hiking.
Oh, okay. Look,
Yeah.
what's about to happen. Ask and ye shall get.
How means hello in Cornish. Fatla Geneth means how are you. Cernau is the Cornish word for Cornwall. Now, where in Cornwall do they speak Cornish? Now, Cornish was actually very much in danger of being lost forever because it
much
did
there.
actually go extinct. But there have been efforts made in recent years to revive the language.
Oh,
and
wow.
as such, even though there are very small numbers at the moment, there
Yeah.
are areas where Cornish is picking up. Now, some of the main areas in Cornwall are Padstow, Bodmin Moor, Land's End, and the Lizard. And these are all areas where Cornish
Thank you.
I don't even have to say it. You do. Go ahead.
I'm looking at the lizard. Yeah. Sorry, it's supposed to be
Not that
language,
kind of show, Debbie.
not locations, and I'm distracted by
I'm gonna flash up a picture of that
the
guy
lizard.
that was standing there in the field with his walking stick, and Debbie's saying, "I'm looking at the lizard." Is that a place? Is that really a place? Is that real? Or is this? I can't tell when this guy's messing with us.
I know.
Like you thought Island Bob was a thing.
It really should be.
It should not be.
It should be.
No. The lizard. Is that really a place?
Hopefully we're gonna find out. It probably is. Look at the other names on there. They seem
They're not as weird as the
they
lizard.
seem legit.
is spoken to some degree. Now, I've put this map together myself using other information to clearly show where
I think it's real.
some clusters of Cornish speakers throughout
Yeah,
the
it's very,
county
very
of
few.
Cornwall are living, but as you can see, very small numbers at the moment.
Yeah. Hopefully that
Now,
changes.
Cornish is another Celtic language, and it's in the same vein of Celtic languages as Welsh is.
Really?
So it's slightly more distantly related to Irish and Scottish Gaelic. And Cornish as well came from the Brythonic languages, the same situation with Welsh.
Okay.
When the Anglo-Saxons
Makes
came
sense.
in, they pushed the Britons, the Celtic inhabitants of Britain, to the corners, and Cornwall actually held out for a very long time. There were people in Cornwall called the Dumnonii, and the Dumnonii held out against the Anglo-Saxons until they were eventually conquered, I think, by King Athelstan of Wessex. But for a very long time, Cornwall was an independent Celtic kingdom, and
Okay,
they
did know
retained
that.
the language right the way up into the early 19th century, and
wow.
now they are trying to revive the language
I hope they
once
do.
again. The first time that I ever heard the Cornish language was actually when I was watching TV, and there was an advert for Kelly's Cornish ice cream, which was partially in Cornish. And Kelly's actually does a lot of work to promote the Cornish language. So I'm actually going to show you that advert now.
You're gonna watch an ice
to
cream
showcase
commercial?
what the Cornish
With
language
Cornish?
sounds
That's
like.
awesome.
Now, it is partially in English and partially in Cornish.
Okay.
So good luck telling it apart.
I think we'll figure it out.
Imurez, Nav Cavallo, a Kelly's Cornish ice cream, ag you as tasty as. We're il cavos ag an suerio splan nig a misk, honeycomb crunch, praline caramel ag an wev, berry eaten mess. If you gris old gans clotted cream, dwarf bukis lale. Hans prif you moi in Mons Nagus a local supermarket. My hello, take home 6 new parlour flavours. Get on.
Okay, so first of all, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
And second, we have a friend, our friend Sarah. Hi, Sarah. I don't know if you're watching this episode or not. Our friend Sarah Howard, she lives in Cornwall. We've been friends with her for over a decade, long before we started YouTube. And she's told us, and we've heard from you guys in the comments of other videos, that Cornwall has some pretty daggone amazing ice cream.
Yes, we have heard that.
So
yes.
Wish we could get some, but that ain't gonna happen. But
now, is this ice cream cart a real thing, or is this just a commercial?
Probably for the commercial.
Sorry.
I think you go to a store to get it.
Again, we're here for the languages of the British
You're
Isles,
stuck on ice
not
cream.
my ice cream. And wow, that sea looks beautiful.
Yeah, it absolutely is gorgeous. This whole background is beautiful. So I'm assuming that's Cornwall. Stunning. But I love the language, though, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd buy it just from the language.
You'd buy this because it's ice cream.
Not the language. I mean, he sold me on it.
Kelly's, Cornish for ice cream.
Manx. Sorry, we have to. I like it.
And the last language we're going to look at today is the Manx language from the Isle of Man. And just like Irish and Scottish Gaelic, in the Manx language, the word for their language is also something similar to Gaelic. Now we're going to have a look at some Manx words and phrases. Mormai is good morning, Fastermai is good afternoon, Gudamayed is thank you, and Gaumileshkal is excuse me. Bla is flower, and Cashel means castle, which is similar to the Irish cashel. Where do they speak the different dialects? Well, you have Northern Manx, which is spoken in historically these parishes, and Southern Manx, which is spoken there. And it's generally around the edges, the north and south, where Manx is strongest on the Isle of Man. Manx is, again, a Celtic language. It is a Godelic Celtic language from Old Irish, so more closely related to Scottish Gaelic and Irish than to Welsh and Cornish. Now, how did the Isle of Man end up speaking a Godelic language instead of a Brythonic language? Well, if we go back again, people in Britain spoke Brythonic and people in Ireland spoke Godelic as a rule. But the Irish, they came across and they founded the kingdom of Dal Riada, if you remember from Scottish Gaelic. And they also settled on the Isle of Man, bringing their language, Old Irish, with them. Now, of course, then you get people like the Norsemen coming with Viking raids, and Old Norse is introduced, although Old Norse had but a little effect on the Manx language, although they were an important presence in the area. They ruled the Isle of Man and the Lords of the Isles for quite a while. Now I'm going to play a little bit of Manx being spoken.
Another beautiful place.
Brian, just inched out back in my Ned Madril as an Gow.
She Remnish Gol Magiat is Marish of Rega, Kasogin Shilia Lottie Dugaza. Australian Grey Nakdugly Mona Gale down could on a good smooth. Renmi Michaelrish Ned Madril train, well, Kate Naga that you had as Renmi Jinu recorders J. Hugmy Shilia during a crane Kate Naga, yes.
Some honourable mentions for other languages of the British Isles are Pictish, Norn and Cumbric, but unfortunately they didn't stick around long enough to be included in this one. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching this video about the other languages spoken.
Actually, to hear some of it for the first time was really neat.
It has been super cool, and it's really interesting how, I don't know how to say it, so bear with me.
Are you going to say it in Cornish? Or Manx?
I'm going to use American English here. So I find it just really interesting how different influences created the languages in different areas.
Yeah.
How some went one way and the others went the other way. I mean, it's really neat how all that history just kind of impacts everything.
It does. And I like that he showed that to us, too.
Yes.
That was interesting. I really enjoyed this. I'm so glad we did it. And some things are worth the wait. I'm glad sometimes we do decide not to do something right away that others maybe have done, and then we hold it in our back pocket for like a year and a half.
Well, sometimes I think waiting gives us that greater appreciation for what we're actually looking at and learning.
You're right, because
not just doing a video to do a video.
Amen.
Wait until we have some background, some knowledge, so that we can actually try to learn it and appreciate it.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right about that. If we had done this when it was first brought up right back when we started the channel,
way over my head.
Wouldn't have made any sense to us. But you're right, having the information we have learned in the time we have, this was much more effective in my brain as far as being able to sponge it in there and get some of it. And like you said earlier, you know, kind of connect it to things and that whole puzzle piece, it puts some of that back in. And before we go on, we just have a second here. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We do appreciate it if you do that. It is the best way to show that you want us to keep making videos. And it doesn't cost you anything. There's no commitment. We don't give you a ring. And you don't give us one, unless you want to. So I enjoyed it. It was really cool to hear it. You know, hopefully we'll do some more stuff with languages in the future. There's so much more I want to do. Definitely want to tackle that Welsh situation.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Try some Welsh.
I've been practicing.
And some Cornish.
Yeah, I want to hear more. If you want to see more, again, like the video. But thanks guys so much for watching. We hope that you did enjoy this episode. We'll see you next time. And until then, love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye guys.
Bye.